welcome to the lecture number 10 of GE103. And I have seen your performance in fast quiz. Most of you have done well, but please remember that the first quiz was very easy. I have given intentionally a very easy quiz for as the first quiz. So please prepare for the tougher quiz in the coming days. And why these quizzes are important, because if you remember, I said that every quiz has some points. So in the yesterday's quiz there was 3 points, though there was 10 marks, but that 10 marks, the total marks you will get will be scaled down for 3. For example, if you get 10 marks out of 10, then your points will be 3, like this. So, and if you got 5 out of 10, then your points will be 1.5. So these points will be added in your total score, total final score. And if you see my first lecture, I have explained you that in quizzes there are some points. So if you collect these points, then it will be easy for you to clear any subject, for clear this particular subject. So these quizzes are important. And also from now onwards, what I'll do of the up to lecture 1 to lecture 9, what I did, I just prepare you for some lab exams. So whatever I explained or from up to lecture 9, this was not directly from a book. That was just the basics of C programming knowledge. But from this lecture, that is lecture number 10, I will start following your textbook. And the name of the textbook is already given to you. And this is the chapter 3 of your textbook. So what I'll do, I'll start from chapter 3, and you also start reading from this book. So please remember that sometime I may ask you some question which is written in this book, but I have not discussed in class. It may be possible. So what are your tasks from today? It is, I have written your task here. Start solving the problem given in the textbook at the end of every chapter. This is not your textbook. This is not your textbook. Textbook name of the textbook is already shared with you. This is your textbook. So in this textbook, at the end of every chapter, you will find some examples, some questions. Start solving them. Start solving them. This will be helpful for you in the exam. Also, if you want, this is another book. This book, the PDF of this book will be available in fact, the PDF of both book will be available in internet. So you download this book also. What the advantage of this book is, if you see this book, after every chapter you will find some questions, and at the end of this book you will get the answer of those questions also. So in that sense, maybe if you want to practice from this book, it is also it may also give you benefit, because the answers are also given at the end of this book. At the end of this book, the answers are also given, but this is not your textbook. That's why I have these are the important announcement, and you have to follow this throughout the semester. Start solving the problems given in the textbook at the end of every chapter. Read each chapter from the textbook. It means that what I am saying, that you have to read these chapters and start from chapter 3. You have to read the chapter. If you are not reading the chapter, and if I ask any question from the book, then don't blame me. It may be possible that I'll ask something from the book. Okay. And so hopefully your lab assignments are also started. If you are facing any difficulty with lab assignments and all, you can send an email to me, or you can ask your doubts in Google Classroom also. Okay. So we'll start the today's lecture. So I'm starting from this chapter. So every programming language like C has certain kinds of data consisting of number, character, string, and other some other types of information is available in any C program or any other programming language. So based on those information, a program is composed, and when you run this program, it gives you output. And other basic things, like when you write a C program, after compiling it will convert it to assembly language, and all these I have already explained you. So from now onwards we'll only concentrate on C programming. Okay. So the first thing, so for this particular chapter, I have a PPT. So instead of going through this chapter, I'll try to follow this PPT, because it's the same thing. This is the screenshot are taken from the book. Okay, so the first thing that I'll discuss from this chapter is called character set. What is called character set? Character set means what are the different characters used in a program. For example, suppose this is a C program. So what are the different characters? Letter here you can say is a character. So this is a character, this is called hash. This is a character I. This is a character called n. This is a character called opening brace. This is another character called closing brace. This is another character, this is called opening curly brace. So everything here is a character. Everything here is a character. This is a person, is a character, d is a character, p is a character. So all these things in C programming is a character. So what are the different types of character possible? Uppercase A to Z, lowercase a to z, all decimal digits from of 0 and 9, all correct, all these characters you can see in a C program. And then other special characters are comma, period, semicolon, colon, question mark, apostrophe, quotation mark, exclamatory mark, vertical bar, slash, black slash, all these things, dollar sign, percent sign, all these things, and ampersand. We have already used ampersand in scanf, right? Percent is also used in printf and scanf both. Then there are many other special characters which will one by one, when you will study this course, you will understand the use of other special characters. Then some white space, blank space, horizontal tab, carriage return, new line, feed form feed, all these kinds. So these are the characters that we use in a C programming. And based on combining all these characters, you can write a C program. But when we write a C program, there must be a syntax. For example, suppose if this is a C program, instead of 4, if you write 4a, if you write 4a, do you think this program will run? No, it will not run because it is a mistake. So though we are using all the characters, a is also a correct allowed valid character for C, but this is not the correct way. 4 should be written like this. Or for example, here after 4, if you give instead of this bracket, if you give this bracket, do you think this will work? If I give this, do you think this will work? If you run it, it will show you error. Let me run it. No, it has run the whole code. Let me run it again. See, it is showing error. Why error? Because as I have explained, this should be the first parent. This is, should be the this. Why this? Because this is called syntax. Though if, all these symbols are allowed in C programming, but you cannot use any character in any place. There must be a rule to place it. So that rule is called syntax. So to understanding C any programming language, the most important part is understanding the syntax of a particular language, and you have to write the syntax correctly. For example, just I have explained, you have to know the syntax of a for loop, otherwise it will not work. For example, here instead of semicolon, if I give a colon here, then again it will give you a syntax error. So syntax is very important for you. So today, from now onwards, from today to maybe at least next 10 classes, we'll just try to understand the syntax and logic of C programming. Okay, so these characters are fine. Then next I'll come, next is token. What is called token? Token means any word. For example, if you have written an English essay in English, or you have, have written a paragraph in English, then every word you can say as a token. So same case is here in C. Every word is a token. So what is a word in C? If you go for this, so this will be a token. Then this will be a token. Then stdio dot this will be a token, dot will be a token, h will be a token, like this. Integer will be a token, then main will be a token, then the opening parenthesis will be another token, then closing parenthesis will be another token, and then this opening curly brace will be another token, integer will be another token, a is a token, then this is another token, 5 is another token. So all this word is a token. But in English it is easy that every word will be separated by a space, but it is not the case in C. For example, here as I am saying, main is a token, then this parenthesis, opening parenthesis itself a token, closing parenthesis is itself a token. So this is how a token, this token means here. For example, if you go here, this 4 is a token, this curly brace is a token, this opening parenthesis is a token, integer is another token, I is another token, equal to is another token, 0 is another token, like this. There are different types of token. So what are the different types of tokens available in C? This is written here. These are the tokens. If you see the left side of this token, there are three things: keyword, constant, and identifier. Don't worry, this all these terms are very easy to understand. What is keyword? First of all, Keyword is some fixed type of variables or fixed name which are used by the C compiler. So here that name you cannot use for any other purpose. For example, if you go here, integer int is a keyword, main is a keyword, for is a keyword, if is a keyword, printf is a keyword, return is a keyword. These are called keyword, which are these words are already reserved for by the C programmer. You cannot use a variable name. For example, can you write a variable name like this? Integer variable name as for. Can you write a variable name for? Run the code. It will give you error. Already showing it is a error. Uh, See, it is showing error in line number 6. It is showing error. You cannot use 4 as a variable. But if you write 4 2, see, there will be no error. There is no error. Why? Because 4 is already a reserved thing and it's a keyword. That's why it's a reserved word and it's called keyword. Why? Because 4 is used here for a for loop, right? So you cannot write it here. So keyword means the reserved words or reserve words that by a C compiler which are used by the programming. So you cannot use them for declaring variables or other purpose. This is called keywords. So different types of keywords is mentioned here. There are all the keywords used in C. Auto, break. We have already used break when we have discussed switch, right? Case we also use in case of in switch statement. Character, I have explained. Character is a data type. Constant, I have not explained, but I will explain. Continue is also a keyword. Default, I have already explained default when I explained switch. Do double is a data type. Else, you know how the purpose of else. Enum, extern, float. For we have already used. Go to. If we have already used. Integer we have already used. Long, register, return we have already used. Sort, sign, size of, static, structure. Switch we have used already. So these while we have already used. Void we have I think we have not used yet. We'll use. So these are the keyword of C programming. So all these what you cannot use for any other purpose, means you cannot use them for using writing a variable name or something else, because these are reserved for a C programming. That is called keyword. Now next, if you go to this side, what are the other tokens? This is first is keyword, second is called identifier. So what is identifier? Identifier is actually the used by the programmer. Suppose you are writing a program, so you are the programmer, so the name given by you in the program is called identifier. What are the name you can give in the program? Right now we are only giving the name of variables, right? A is a variable. It's a array type variable, but it's a variable. M is also a variable. So we are giving the names of A, M, I. These are the names given by us. Sometimes when we will go in the after few lectures, you will find that we also need to define a functions. So we have to give the function name and all. So the names that we give as a programmer we use in a programming language are called identifier. Okay. So variable is also identifier. So what are the different types of identifier used in C? Uh, uh, then you, for this, the rules for identifier. The first character must be an alphabet or underscore. Must consist of only letters, digits, and underscore. Cannot use a keyword. Must not contain white space. So these are the rules for identifiers. So every time when you write a variable name or a function name, you must follow this rule. The rule is first character must be an alphabet or underscore. So you must start with your variable name with alphabet, that is A, B, C, D, either it is capital or small, not an issue, or an underscore. Must, and the second rule is must consist only letters, digits, and underscore. You cannot use an identify name anything except letters, digit, and underscore. Cannot use a keyword. You cannot use any keyword. Just I have explained you that you cannot use a variable name called for. Okay, must not contain any white space. Means when you are writing a variable name or an identifier, you cannot use white space in between. So these are the rules. So based on this rule, if I go here, so till now what we have done, we have used a variable name as integer A, B, C, A1, B1. These were our variables till now. So they are perfectly fine according to the rule, because what the rule says that your variable name must start with a letter or underscore. So if we are using writing this type of variable name m a, these are fine, no issue. But you cannot write a variable like this integer 2a. You cannot write it. This is a mistake. See, it is already showing error, because a variable name cannot start with a digit. A variable name must start with a letter, like if letter a2 you can write. See, it is a correct variable, though it is showing it is a correct variable. Or you can also start it with underscore. You can also start it this is also a correct variable. And what are the other rules it is saying? First character is fine. The must consist only letter, digit, and underscore. So and the enter. Suppose you have start properly a2. You cannot use a2 at a2 dollar, because dollar is not allowed as a variable symbol. Why? It is written must consist of only letters, digits, and underscore is allowed. Cannot use the keyword that I have already explained you. Must not contain white space. You cannot use this type of white space inside a variable. So all these things are fine for identifier. Okay. And then the variable is a part of identifier that I will explain later. And then another kind of token is constant. Constant is a very important thing. There are different types of constant possible in C programming. You can see there are constant, numerical constant. There are two types of numerical constant: integer constant and real constant. So constant means any number or anything that we write in C programming. For example, if we go here, can we find some constant? Yeah, this 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, these are constant. Here this 0 is a constant, this 5 is a constant. All these are called constant. 1 is a constant. So if you go here, then we'll check that there are if you go on the left side, then there are called numerical constant. So what are the numeric constant? Integer constant. Here if you write 223 minus 23 plus 23 256 7890, all are your integer constants. So whatever the real constant, if you write this 123.45 is all the number having fractional part, that is with decimal part, these are called real constant. 12.0, 0.34, all these things are called real constants. Okay. So now the integer constants have also different parts. Integer constant can be of decimal type. If you write like this 2 minus 23 plus 23, these are actually decimal values. But you can also write a constant starting with 0x. If you start any constant with 0x, then it is not actually decimal, it's a hexadecimal value. If you start anything with 0, then it's a octal values. So you can read all these things from book, and there are a lot of example given in book that what are the different types of constant. Let me show you a small example here. I'm deleting this code. If I write two constant here, suppose a equal to I'm writing a constant here 23. Okay. And I write integer b equal to 0x23, and now I want to print these two value. I think instead of 0 I have written 0x23. Huh? Now I just want to print these two value. Print a %d, and I want to print a b. What will be the output? What do you think? What will be the output? A will print 23. Do you think B will also print 23? Just run the code. See, A is printing 23, but B is printing 35. Why? Because this constant the very in variable a, what we are storing the constant 23. It is an integer constant. So integer constant 23 is stored in variable a. But here in variable b, what we are storing? We are storing this constant. This is also integer constant, but this is not in decimal format. It is in hexadecimal format. So in hexadecimal, 23 is actually 35 in decimal. So every time when printf print with %d, it prints a integer number in decimal format. So in variable b, it is the hexadecimal corresponding value of hexadecimal of 23 is stored. But when we want to print it, we are actually printing in decimal format. That's why it is printing 35. So this is called a constant called hexadecimal. So a common question may rise in your mind that here we are storing 23 in the variable, here we are storing hexadecimal 23. So how exactly they are stored in variable? If you remember in my initial classes, I've explained you that what is a variable. Variables means the moment you write integer a, there will be memory allocate in the computer memory for that variable, and that memory size will be 4 byte because it's integer. So now here you are storing 23 in decimal format in that memory, that is fine, but here you are storing hexadecimal format in variable v. So actually, as I have explained, neither this 23 nor this hexadecimal 23 will be stored in memory. They will be converted into binary, and binary is stored in actual memory. So every time if you go to this memory location A, you will only find a combination of 1 and 0. It means it will be converted to binary and stored. So no matter if it is hexadecimal also, first of all it will be converted to binary, and that binary will be stored in the variable B. So and here what the printf is doing, printf wants to print the content of these two location A and B. So first of all, it will collect the values of binary and will convert it to decimal, and then it will show us to us, show it to us. Okay. Uh, that is fine. So I have explained you what is called integer constant. There are different types of integer: decimal, octal, and hexadecimal constants. And real constants of is with the fractional values are real constant. You can also write real constant in this format. This is the scientific notation. This is you can use this part. It is written here. Let me show you in the book. In book, you have ultimately you have to read the book. Uh, it is written here in scientific format. See, you can use this format: mantissa, e, and exponent. Exponent is always in integer format. So you can also write the numbers in this format: 0.65 e to 4, and it means 0.65 into 10 to the power 4. It is 12 into 10 to the power minus 2. You can write the scientific notation also. I'm not explaining here what is scientific notation, because you know it already. Only thing here you have to remember that this exponent part must be always integer, otherwise it will show you error. So now let me show you some common mistake, that is, if you cannot write, for example, you cannot write a integer constant like this. 20,000 comma is not allowed in any integer constant. You cannot give any space. For example, if you want to write 15,750, you cannot give any space here. You cannot use any dollar symbol or anything in integer constant when you are writing an integer constant. Okay. And then after this this part is done, then if you go this part of constant, then you will find character constant. Character constant means any character that you use, a, b, c, or any letter, or if you remember my second or third lecture, I think, where I have explained you the ASCII table. At that time I said that any character that you can show in your keyboard is called a character or has a corresponding ASCII value. So the concept of character is already explained to you. So here, whenever in C we want to write a character constant, we have to write it in this single quotation. This a r 2, these are called character constant. So if you write this a 2 in this quotation, then it's a different meaning. If you write just 2, so just 2 is a digit, it is the decimal 2. But if you write a 2 inside this quotation, then it means that it's a character, and it has a separate ASCII value. Each of these character has a separate ASCII value. If you don't remember this, you can follow this lecture, my previous lecture, and find what is called ASCII values. So let me show you an example for character. uh, Instead of all this thing, if I use a character here, character is also a data type. So suppose character, I'm using a variable name called variable 1, character variable 1. If I store a, okay, and character variable 2, if I store 2, okay, and then if I want to print them, so if I want to print with %d, then what will happen? First of all, I'll show you variable 1 and then variable 2. So now if I print, what will how it will display? Let me, okay, it is already displaying 97 and 50. See, output is 97 and 50. But here this is a character a character, and this is another character 2. But when you want to print them with %d, then they are showing 97 and 50. What is 97 and what is 50? These are actually the ASCII values, because this is, you are storing a character in this variable, you are storing a character in this variable. So whenever you want to store a character in a particular variable, they will store the corresponding ASCII value. and here you are printing, you want to print it as an integer because percent %d is used for printing integer. So if you want to print this value as an integer, so it will just collect whatever information stored in memory, because everything, either it's a character or number or anything, it's stored in binary format, right? So it will collect those by a binary combination of 1 and 0, and it will give you the corresponding value. So as I said, instead of this character a, in the corresponding memory location of variable 1, you will store the corresponding ASCII value. That ASCII value is 97, that's why it is printing 97, that's why it is printing 50. Suppose you want to print that character only, then you have to use %c here. Now if we use %c and %d, then let me run this code. See now, %c means this a is printing, and for the second variable percent we are using %d, so again still it is printing the ASCII value. So if I use here %c again, then it is printing a and 2. Okay, so what I'm trying to explain here is that these are called characters. These are called character. When we written them in single quotation, these are called characters. Okay, and if I write here just like this, and this is not a character. If I run this code now, it is not showing anything for this 2. Why? Because this is not a character. This is 2 is not a character. So there is a different meaning for this, but I am not complicating it. This is why it is not showing error, because there is a rule here, but I am not showing. But actually, if you just write 2, what is 2? What is 2? 2 is a integer constant, right? If you don't use this single quotation, then 2 is a integer constant. So whenever you want to assign a integer constant to a character variable, because variable 2 is a character variable, so it will consider this as a ASCII code. So actually the corresponding character of ASCII code 2 is printing. So let me store here 98. If I store 98, then it will now run. Now it is printing b. Why b? That's why, because this is a integer constant. So now whenever you want to assign an integer constant to a character variable, it will consider it as a ASCII. So if the 98 is a ASCII, so whenever you want to print variable 2 as a character format, then corresponding character of an ASCII number 98 will be print, which is b. That's why it is printing. So all these things will be discussed again, but only important part here is to understand what is called character constant. Character constant is every character written in a single quotation is called a character constant, and every character constant has a corresponding ASCII value. These you have to remember. And string constant. String constant means any string that you want to write, it's called a string constant. Here, if you go to this program, if I write here something like the values are, suppose, so this is a string. This is a string constant. The entire thing is a string constant. This is a string constant. So that's why it is written, this string is a combination of multiple characters, but string always has to write in double quotation. This is called string constant. So there will be a separate, at least there will be two separate lectures on string, because string is very important for you. But now I will only concentrate on this integer constant, real constant, and character constant. This will be enough. String will be discussed later, but this is also very important part of any programming language, how to handle strings. Okay, so I hope the basic concept of constants are clear. And then these are some another other character constants, though they look like there are two letters, but actually they considered a single letter. One of them is new line character that we are already using, slash n. Though it is slash n, but we call it as a single character. We call it as a single character, new line character, and there is a corresponding ASCII value also available for this. So these are some special characters available in C programming. Then let us go to next. So what I have already explaining, we are discussing about tokens. So for tokens, we have discussed keyword, we have discussed identifier, we have discussed constants, we have discussed string also, we have discussed. Then you can go for operators, and sorry, spatial symbols. There is nothing more to discuss about spatial symbol. Anything like this, see, all the braces and all the braces and other things are called spatial symbols of C. So if you go to this program, what are the spatial symbol? You can say this hash is a spatial symbol. These angular brackets are spatial symbols. These parentheses are spatial symbols. So all these are called spatial symbols. So these also, they are also a separate token in C. And the operators. like plus, minus, divide. All the operators are also a token in C. So these are the tokens. So whenever you write a C program, suppose you have written a C program, so it's a combination of multiple tokens. And why it is important? Because if any of you are from computer science background, maybe you will study a course called compiler in future, and when you will read compiler, then you will understand that how a compiler compiles your code. For example, whenever you are running this code, or if you are using a Ubuntu environment, whenever you are saying GCC and you are giving your program name, what it is doing, a compiler is compiling your code. But how compiler is compiling? First of all, compiler will parse your program and create all the tokens. It will scan your program and create multiple tokens. So what are the different types of tokens possible in C that I have just explained? So if you follow this rule that these are the tokens, and if you come here, then this hash will be a token, include will be a token, this angular bracket will be a token, stdio will be a token, dot is a token. Like this, there will be many tokens. Why? Because this is a separate token, include is the identifier, or you can say it's a keyword, so it will be a separate token. Then angular bracket is a separate token, stdio it's a token, because moment it's fine dot, this has to be stopped, because dot is not a part of any identifier. So stdio is the identifier, dot is a separate identifier, h is a separate identifier. Like this, here int is a identifier. After int there is a space, so space cannot be a part of any identifier. That is against the rule. So int is a token. Like this, your compiler will parse it, and sorry, compiler will uh, find all the tokens from your C program, or from your program. So this is these are the tokens possible in C. All the tokens I have explained here. Variables. Variables is a special kind of identifier only. So as I have said that here, what you are using here, that here you are only using variable names. So here there is, you cannot differentiate between identifier and variable, but there is, the identifier is a bigger picture, because identifier means whatever name you are using in program, as in a C program, as a programmer. So you will give some more names. For example, it's not just a variable name. Sometimes you have to use a function also. Function also has a name, but function is not come yet. So whenever you write a user defined function, that function also has a name. So that's why function name, variable name, combining all this name, we call it identifier. But the writing rule is same. Now coming to the variable, the purpose of variable is already clear to you. I have already explained you from the beginning that what is called variable. That is the advantage. That's why I have just explained you how to write a C program at the beginning. Now I no need to explain you what is called variable in detail. I have already explained you many times what is called variable, what is the purpose of a variable. But now here what I will try to just explain is the rule of writing a variable name. The writing of a variable name is same as writing a identifier. So these rules are exactly same. They must begin with a letter. Some system permit underscore as first character. So they must start with either letter or underscore, and I think this rules is something different here, but it is exactly same as the rule of identifier. So if you don't follow this, then also fine. Just follow the rules of writing identifier. See, you cannot use a keyword. White space are not allowed. Uppercase and lowercase are significant. That means if you write capital A and if you write small a, these are two different variables. Okay, and so that is written here, that is the variable total is not same as the variable total or this total. So the case, they are case sensitive. Okay, and other thing is you cannot use anything else except characters, numbers and underscore in your variable. That's it for variables. You know the basic concept of variables. Then comes data types. There are different data types possible in C. Till now most of the example that I have shown in class are either integer or character, right? Most of the time I've written integer a, integer b. So this is just a one particular data type in C. An integer takes 4 bytes, that also I've explained. But there are different types of data types that is written here. See, if you go for integer, there are different types of integer also. Integer, the integer that I use in class is int. It is int. This is a signed integer. Then short integer, long integer, these are called signed integer. Why signed integer? Because here this a the most significant bit is reserved here for sign, means 1 means minus, 0 means plus. So this most significant bit, that there is the leftmost bit here, is reserved for minus, for the sign. So a integer has 4 bytes normally. Int has 4 bytes. So if it's a 4 byte integer, so there will be 4 into 8 bits, right? 4 into 8 bits, because each byte has 8 bit. So 4 into 8 binary bits will be there. So the most significant bit, that is the leftmost bit, will be reserved for the sign here in sign data types. But unsigned here, unsigned integers, integer, short, long, there are different types of integer data type possible. Unsigned integer, unsigned short, and unsigned long integer. Here the no bit will be reserved for sign. Then the different types of character, sign character, unsigned character, all these things I'll explain later. There are floating point data types also possible. Floating point is float, double, long double, and void. There are different types of data types. So the size, if you go for size of each kind of data type, you can see here short integer normally has 2 bytes. Okay. And also, how can you represent them in to print them, print or scanf. So for example, if you go for integer here, see, integer is 4 byte, and you can use %d for it. So this, remembering this table is very important for you. Whatever we did here, most of the time in program, we had either use %c or %d for printing and scanf. So in both printf and scanf, you need this type of operators, right? These are called format specifier. Format specifier is required to either to take input through scanf or to print that variable. So format specifier is very important. So for integer it is %d, for character it is %c. What about short? What about long? So these format specifier, you have to remember to write a code. This is very important. Short integer normally takes 2 bytes, and if you want to print, if you, and the format specifier is %ht, unsigned short integer. Unsigned short integer, what is the difference between short and unsigned short? Because here there are 2 bytes, so 2 bytes is reserved here, but the most significant bit here in short integer will be reserved for minus or plus. Okay, but here this most significant bit is not reserved because the number is unsigned. That means it is always in a positive integer. Same in unsigned integer is also 4 byte. Then integer is so %u, %d, and then long integer is again 4 byte. Unsigned long is 4 byte. Long is 8 byte. Unsigned long integer is 8 byte. Signed character is 1 byte. Unsigned character is 1 byte. Float is 4 byte. Double is 8 byte, and long double is 12 byte. So also remember this format specifier. For example, if you go for character, signed character, it is %c. So all these things are important for you. Please remember this slide. This slide is not from book. This is from this source, Geeks for Geeks. You can also go to this web page, and you can see this sizes. Now coming to the range of each data type. So if we concentrate on the first data type, that is short integer, it is memory size of 2 bytes, and the range is minus 32,768 to 32,767. So what is this range? Range means, with this space, for example, suppose you have 2 bytes of information. Suppose if here I am right, this is the first byte, and sorry, this is first byte, and up to here this is the second byte. So this is the storage will be allocated in memory for any variable of type short integer. So 8 by 2 bytes means how many bits? Each byte has 8 bits, so there are 8 bits here and 8 bits here, right? So out of all these 8 there are 16 bit, but out of 16 bit, this first bit here, this bit is reserved for plus and minus, right? This bit is reserved for plus and minus, or you can say if it is 0, you can say it is plus. If it is 1, that is called minus. So this bit is gone. So after this first bit here, this remain, there are how many bits? There are 15 bits. So these 15 bits will represent that how much number you can store here. So the out using this 15 binary bits, how many decimal number you can store. For example, if you have only 2 bits, 2 binary bits, suppose either, then you can either write 10, or using 2 binary bits you can write 00, then 01, then 10, and 11. These are the values you can write using 2 binary bits. So what is the range here? Range is 0 to 0 to 3. Okay, so if you have three binary bits, then you can write 000, 001, 0, then 010, then 011, then you can write 100, and then you can up to write, you can write 111. What is this? This is actually 027. So you can see here, if you have two binary bits, you can the maximum number you can write is 3, minimum number is 0. If you have three binary bits, then you can write maximum number is 7 and minimum is 0, like this. So here you have 15 bits. Always remember that if here the most significant bit is 1 means minus, 0 means plus, and after this there are 15 binary bits. So with 15 binary bits, what are the numbers you can represent? You can represent these numbers. So that's why this range is given based on this concept. I hope it is clear to you. And after starting this, after the 2 3 lectures, I'll spend one lecture on explaining what are the binary numbers, how to convert binary to decimal and all, but not now, because this is not directly related with your C program. Without binary conversion also is you can write a C program, but this is also important, so I'll explain it later. So I hope the data types are clear to you. So if I but sometimes the values may vary. For example, these values I have written here for memory bytes, I have not written, I have collected it from this source, but sometimes it may vary for system to system. uh, so you can use what you can use a size of operator to check each value. For example, here if I come and I want to check the size of each variable, so instead of this, if I write %d, and here if I write size of variable 1, then it will print the size of this variable. Let me run this code. See, it is printing size is 1 byte because it is a character. So now instead of this, if I write integer variable 1 equal to, because this is just a variable, so if I write a variable, now this variable 1 is an integer variable, so what should be the size it is printing? See, it is printing 4, so means a variable size is 4. So it sometimes vary from system to system, but you can easily find out. So instead of this, if I write here long integer, let me see what it is printing. Long integer is also 4. Long integer, it is 8. Long integer is 8. If I write here suppose double float, float is for real values, then it will also print 4. See, it is printing 4. So the data type, the size of each data type you can print. So you can see at the same variable 1 has different size based on the data type. If it is integer, it will go for 4. If it is long integer, it will go for 8. If you go for character, it is going for 1 byte. So that depends. For example, the moment I write float variable 1, it means that the computer will go allocate a location in its memory of 4 byte size, because float needs 4 byte. If I write here is character, then what will do, the computer will allocate a memory for variable 1 of size 1 byte, because character needs only 1 byte. If I write here short integer, then what will do, compile the compiler will allocate a memory, allocate a location in memory for variable 1 of size 2 byte. Let me run, it must show 2. See, it is showing 2 bytes. Okay, so I hope this part is clear to you. So if I'll stop here this class. I'll continue from next part from here, user defined declaration. But whatever I have explained you, if I go here, the main part I've explained is tokens. There are different types of token. I have explained what is called keyword, what is called identifier. Variable is a part of identifier. What is constant, what is string. I have just I explained you how to write a string, what is called string. But there are different kind of operation possible with string that I'll explain later. What are symbols, what are operators, all these things I explained. Then in detail I have explained what are different types of constraint, numerical constraint, integer constraint, real constraint, and then how to represent a constant in octal, hexadecimal, and decimal. All these things I have explained. What are called character constant, what are the corresponding ASCII values. All these things I have explained. Then these are the special character constants. Then again from here I've explained you how to write a variables, rules to writing a variables. Then the most important part is data type. There are different types of data type I have explained to you. So we'll use all the data types one by one when we use. For example, in later lectures we'll use float, double, long double, everything, and character. But most of the time we'll use this character, integer and float or double. This is enough for most of the part. Sometimes if it is required, then we'll use other part, but more for most of this course you will use integer, character, float, double, etc. This will be enough. And then I have explained this figure, this chart to you. So this figure and this format specifier is very very important for you, so always remember all these things. So I'll stop here. From next lecture I will continue this chapter, and then some other interesting concept will be discussed.